Okay, so this is the gamma exposure for SPX.
$1 million in just 12 months. That's the milestone that my guest today, Daniel Gutierrez, has achieved, reaching Pro-M status with $1 million in real trading capital. In this interview, we dive into how he made it happen, what markets he trades, the strategies that he uses, and how he manages to keep his cool while managing and trading such a massive account. Welcome to the channel, Daniel. Congratulations on such a significant achievement.
Thank you very much. I feel very, very glad for being here.
So I said that it took you 12 months to reach Pro-M status, but it wasn't a straight line there, right?
Once I started, I crashed once. After 3 months trading on the program, I crashed once, and after that I began again, and I reached the million in 9 months in a row with no stops. I understood everything, the program, the rules, and I learned, I discovered that I don't have to, my behavior shouldn't be like a normal trader, I should be like a risk manager. Once I understood that I have to trade on Axis Seller like a risk manager, everything changed, and I go super smooth to the million, straight to the million.
You said that $550, based upon what you studied, was all you needed in order to reach these different levels, including the $1 million funding status. Can you shed a little light on that? Because I don't think everyone understands that. I know you did your homework, but maybe you can shortcut it for us and let us know, why is $550 sufficient? Why don't I need to start with $2,000, for example?
Because we have to do a 7%. 7% of 500 is $35. It means one good trade and you reach the 7%. So because on the early stage, the amount of money you can earn is not a lot because you are trading with a little money. For me, it was better. It was, in my mind, I wanted to reach the million. So I didn't focus on maximize the profit, and I tried to maximize the time. So I trade with the minimum amount to reach the 7% faster. And once I went to pro state, now in the pro state, I trade with the maximum amount, with the maximum amount according to the multiplier and all the stuff, to get the maximum amount in those stages. But at the beginning, in the 3 first stages, it's better for myself or for me, in my opinion, to trade with the minimum amount, because you're gonna pass to the next level easier and faster.
Okay, so you said that initially at your first attempt, you failed. Can you talk a little bit about maybe some of the mistakes that you made?
Yes, at the beginning it was, I failed because the amount it was very, very small, because only trading with $500, if you lose $50, you are out because you lose the 10%. And basically I trade with bigger lots, with bigger size than I should be trading. That's the main reason. There is nothing about the strategy, nothing about if I got crazy or something like that. No, it was a bad trade, couple of bad trades, and I got ejected because the drawdown it was very, very tiny, you know. So nothing special in that part.
I mean, how long have you been trading for?
Well, I began 20 years ago with a traditional binary options pop-up. And suddenly someone was calling me on the phone, hey, invest some money in binary options. I was a teenager, imagine. So I began 20 years ago. 15 years ago, I take it like in the professional way, and I've been profitable for more than 20 years here in Spain. And I also went to Dublin in Ireland to working in a broker and trading school and all the stuff. And at this stage is where I was a professional trader.
So you started with binary options 20 years ago. I'm sure you're not trading binary options now. Or, 15 years ago, you made the switch to what asset were you trading by that time? Okay, was Nasdaq, gold?
Yeah, at the beginning, I was more in Forex because it was kind of cheaper, easier to get into the market. But nowadays, I trade Nasdaq, gold, and Bitcoin. And also in Axis Select, in Axis, I think they have a very good spreads with very low commission, and the volatility in those markets is very good. If you know where to set up your trades, the risk reward can be 2, 3 to 1. So it's very, for me, it's kind of the best assets to trade on.
So you trade Nasdaq, gold, and Bitcoin. And you just mentioned that your risk reward, you like this way that Axie Select does their risk management. Your risk reward is about 2 to 1, 3 to 1. Would you say that you are therefore a swing trader, or am I wrong?
No,
Trader.
I'm more a day trader, and I'm kind of intraday, but not scalper, because I usually have the trades open for 6-7 hours average. So it means someone close at 3 hours, some other trades at 12 or 20 hours. But I used to trade on 15 and 1 hour candles. So I like to set up to analyze the market in 15 minutes or 100 or one hour candles, and after I go into M5 and M1 to set up the trade. And I try to find 2 to 1, 3 to 1 risk reward trades, but I usually close at 1-1. So if I risk 20 or if I risk 15 or whatever, I try to reach this amount like a profit, even if the trade is a good setup for 2 or 3 to 1. But I don't like to leave the trades open too much. And according to my experience, whenever I try to left the trades more time open, the statistics are not so consistent. And for Axie Select, it's better to do 2 tens than 120 and 1 break even.
There's a lot of information that you just gave us, and I want to dive a little deeper into this. So first off, from what I understand correctly, is that you look for your setup on the slightly longer term charts, like the 1 hour chart, for example, and maybe even you said the 15-minute chart,
yes,
right? And then you dive down to the 5-minute chart, for example, to determine your specific entry.
Yeah.
So I think that's really a very important information for people to understand, which is that a lot of professional traders do this, which is that they really try to optimize the trade by not only finding out their setup like you're doing, but also diving into a shorter time frame to make sure that you're pricing it at the right point. Now, you also mentioned that you go in with 2 to 1, 3 to 1 risk reward, but oftentimes you will take profits at 1 to 1. So is that a technique that has helped you maintain a relatively attractive win rate?
Yes, it's more focused on Axie score than on having the most efficient or maximizing my rewards. But having this 1-to-1 in terms of the Axie score is better to improve those metrics.
Now, as for someone that's just listening and learning about Axie Select for the first time, can you talk a little bit more about how important this Axie score is? Because we started the conversation with this, and you talked about how you had larger drawdowns and you cut your drawdowns, and that was your path to success. Now, did this appear in the Axie score, and did you find out that that was really part of the problem through the Axie Edge score? Maybe you can explain that to us a little bit.
Yes, for me the most important is that we have to change our mind. We are not traders, we are risk managers. So if you have to do 2 trades and you can win $20 in one trade and 0 in the second, if you are a professional risk manager, it's better if you win 2 tens instead of a 20 and a 0.
Okay.
So in terms of statistics of the Axie Select score, they qualify you better, in my experience, if you have 2 tens instead of 1 good and 1 so.
That is exactly what I'm trying to ask, and I'm so glad you gave that answer, because I think that's very, very important for people to understand. And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, the reason why it's so important is because it contributes to consistency.
Yes.
because two is two more statistics of winning trades than just one and a zero, which is 50-50, right?
Yeah.
So I think the reason why you were able to fast track your success to the Pro M status is because you truly understood what each of these components of the Axis score is, and that consistency is not just about being consistent, period, and having a high win rate, for example, but having a lot of statistics and data. And having more statistics go into the edge score helps to increase your speed to getting Pro M
Yeah.
status. Is that right?
Yes, of course. That's it. And one thing that I like to say is that it's better if you are wrong and you don't win extra money than if you are wrong and you lose money. So it's
Okay.
better if you save money, you save your trades, and if you are wrong and you don't win 20 or 30 extra dollars, that's fine. But if you are wrong and you lose 30 or 40, that's bad.
So beyond just people who are looking at Axie Select, I think that this is a very important concept for just traders in general, right? Because being able to have the positive reinforcement of smaller wins and consistent smaller wins is much more emotionally is much more psychologically easy for traders to handle than to have 000 and then 120, for example. Would you say that?
Yes, of course.
Now, you just mentioned, about how it's better to have a loser that is a loser in small profit than a loser in losses, correct?
Yes.
So how would you explain this in terms of actual trading? I mean, would you say that this basically means that if you're in a profit and you see the trade already going wrong, cut your losses soon, and don't ride the hold stop?
Yes, actually, it's cut your losses earlier and cut your profits earlier. I mean, if you see that the market is gonna, if you are long and the market is start to fall, don't wait until the price hit your break-even point. Just saved half of the position.
All right, that's
So
very, 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 very good information. I mean, I think it's good information for all traders in general. Now, you trade gold, Bitcoin, and Nasdaq. How many trades do you usually put on a day?
I try to open 1 or 2 trades per day. Usually, I try to find the maximum on the minimum on the bottom of the day, and I try to find this little 20-30 pips movement to a little correction, and I try to find this tiny movement in the maximum or the minimum of the day.
Now, do you find that more of your trades are in one instrument or the other? Like maybe you trade gold more, maybe you trade.
No, usually it's 1/3 each, because usually the market, it's kind of there is some correlation on those three assets. So whenever I have today a huge movement on Nasdaq, I know tomorrow Bitcoin should have or should repeat this movement. So I try to find the correlation between 3 of them, and I place the trade on the best scenario between 3 of them.
So you trade the 3 instruments about equally. Is there one that's more profitable for you?
Nasdaq. Nasdaq is my baby. Because I actually, what I do is that I check the chain options on S&P 500, and according to the gamma levels and the wall of put and calls options, I try to do the trades according to this information on Nasdaq, because the correlation between Nasdaq and S&P 500 is huge. So I use the chain options on one index to trade in the other.
Now, I love how you're beginning to share with us your trading strategy, and it sounds very interesting. It's very unique from a lot of traders that I speak to, because a lot of traders I speak to, it's either pure charts or volume and charts, volume and price. And so it sounds like you use correlation as well as options in order to, I guess, figure out what type of trade you want to take.
Right.
Now, I find this even more interesting because we started this conversation about how the very first thing you traded was binary options. Now, would you say that there is some, I guess, relationship in that, where you started with your interest in options and you carried over that interest over to your strategy today?
Yes, that's it. I analyze the options and the option changing in the markets, and I use this information to trade in the other assets. Because at the end of the day, the market it there is only one market. It's like the sea. Okay, you see the ocean in the world, there is all the water all together. If the water moves in one direction, maybe you are plenty of water here in this part of the world, and in the other is empty, but the water is going to come back. So the money in the market, doesn't matter if it's gold, Bitcoin or Nasdaq, is moving from one asset to the other. So if you understand the market like if it were the ocean in the world, you can find how it flows from one asset to the other, and it keeps the balance in all of them.
So this is a very important concept that I want to explain to our viewers if they didn't fully understand what you're saying, because I really love what you're saying. It's very in sync with what I like to watch, which is that how one market affects another. At the end of the day, I think that's really what you're trying to share with us, is that you have fully understood how one market affects another and turned that into a strategy that it's helped you achieve the level of success that you've had. So you teased a little bit and you told us that the S&P is a very strong, I guess I would say, leading indicator for the Nasdaq.
Of course.
So what would you say are the markets that you watch for gold and Bitcoin?
Nasdaq. So I watch S&P 500 to know what to do with Nasdaq, and I watch Nasdaq to know what to do with Bitcoin, because the correlation between Bitcoin and Nasdaq is huge nowadays. Yeah, and after gold is like the ugly guy that it's random move and do whatever he wants. But if you understand the liquidity in the market, because now why we have gold in maximums and index in maximums, it has no sense. Because if the index raise, gold should fall. The correlation is negative correlation. But now both are in maximum. It's because liquidity. So if you understand the liquidity, you can understand what's going to happen in the markets, and after try to find opportunities also in gold, because it's a value, or it's someone is selling on stocks and going to gold and everything. So gold is like a joker, in cards.
I'm sure your strategy is very sophisticated. Would you say, for us, kind of laymen to understand, when you look at the correlations from S&P to Nasdaq to Bitcoin, for example, would you say that you are I guess a trend trader or a reversal trader? Are you looking to ride the moves that happens in the other markets, or are you looking to fade them?
I think I am a reversal trader. Yeah.
Okay.
So I find the limits of the market, of the trends, and I go against the trend usually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just to dive into this a little deeper, does this mean that, for example, if I'm a trader trying to figure out, how to replicate Daniel's success, I'm watching the S&P. I see a huge move in the S&P. I think this is going to lead to a huge move in the Nasdaq. But then I watch the maximum minimum limits to try to fade that move. Is that what I should kind of start with?
Yes, kind of. If you wanna, I can share the screen. Okay, so this is the gamma exposure for SPX. So for SPY 500. So you can check the prices 500, 6,550. That's the world we have in the option market. Now if you go to the market, where is it stop? In 650, 6,550. So here we have the wall, and it's not gonna crash at first, and suddenly it's gonna raise to 6,600. So if you use this level like traditional support and resistances, it's gonna be huge. So whenever the market comes from the left, I used to trade short, and when the market pass it, I go long for the next level, and you use those levels like support and resistances. And once the market, if there is not much volatility, and the market now, imagine, goes to 6,570, I'm gonna go short again, because this is like a magnetic for the market. So those levels are attractions, and the push and pull the market. So if it's closer to this level, it's gonna be in this level at the end of the day. So now for the market, pass those levels and go straight.
The yellow shaded line, is that the 60,550 level?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is
And
the 6,500, and this is one in the middle, just to know what is the middle.
Fantastic. So you basically,
So, look at this. Sorry, look at this. This is the one of the most important levels on the last week, 6,500. Okay, and if you check what the market does, he moves above and under and above the top, and under and the top of this level. So it's like a magnetic. It push and pull the market. So I try to find short in this level and long in this level. I don't trade those movements, actually.
but you will trade at the yellow shaded line, right?
Yeah, that's my today's trade.
And that's is that the 6,550 level, the yellow, where the yellow shaded line was earlier?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic.
So
This is
check.
very, very interesting.
This is the Nasdaq level, and check where is in S&P. Sorry.
Okay. So basically, you're saying that the S&P is the trigger, and then you just focus on executing it in the Nasdaq.
Yes, according to the chain option and the gamma exposure.
So once you enter in the trade, how do you set your stops and targets? Because you said that one of the most important things to learn as a successful Axie Select trader is to become a risk manager.
Okay, so what's the information we have today for the market? We know 6,550. It's a very important wall in the market. We are coming from the left, so we are racing in the market. What can we expect? We can expect that once the market hit this level, is gonna do a little spike to crash all the profits or the stop, whatever, and it's gonna fall a little bit. That's my enter. That's my point. Whenever I saw the market crash and eat all the triggers here, and the market crash a little bit, that's my trade. Nothing else. $15-20 enough.
So this is your trade. I mean, the stop looks it looks very obvious to me, just that swing high. Now your exit, would you say that you have a fixed amount that you exit? Like let's say you want to make $10 or $100.
Yeah, I usually find between 50 and 25. Look at,
Okay.
You can, if I can zoom here, that's my stop loss. I keep pushing my stop loss, trailing stop loss, and finally it reached the take profit here in $20. That's it.
That's such incredible information. Guys, you're so lucky that Daniel shared with us.
This take profit jumps because I didn't be faster enough to keep moving because it make a spike here and it take my take profit, but it should be bigger profit.
Well, thank you so much for being so generous about showing your trading strategy. So in terms of Axie Select, were you trading with Axie beforehand as a broker? How did you discover the opportunity that Axie Select was providing?
Well, I met Axie in 2021 whenever they had another kind of weird prop firm challenge, I don't know how to describe that. But for me, the important is that I never went into another prop firm because I don't like the philosophy or the business behind the traditional prop firm that we know in Europe. And I met Axie because they had something similar to Axie Select 4 years ago, and I began with them. And whenever they create the Axie Select program, the actual Axie Select program, I say, wow, that's awesome. That's better than any pro film program because you are not paying for any challenge. You have your money. You always can go away with your money, and they are doing copy trading on your real account. That is like the best of copy trading and the best of the pro firms because there are no hard rules that you have in the pro firms.
So you say that the reason why you like Axie Select and you don't like a lot of the other prop firms out there is because of the rules and restrictions in trading?
Yes, the market it's already very difficult to be profitable or to be consistent during the years, and if you add extra barriers, it's kind of crazy to be profitable consistently during months and months and months. There is no sense for me to jump into other pro firms.
I agree. I mean, the more rules, the harder it is already hard to make money as a trader. And the more rules that you have, the more restrictions, the more challenge that it is to become a profitable trader. And a big part of that is also the daily loss limits, right? Because Axie Select only has that 10% maximum loss rule, whereas a lot of these other prop firms have kind of moving goalposts, which I think a lot of traders find unfair. Would you say that?
Yeah, for me, the program is super fair. I mean, if we talk about the other pro firms and the rules they have, it's like a nightmare. It's like I can't believe people being profitable for several years in those programs, and whoever is profitable in any other pro firm program is gonna be super profitable in Axie Select.
How important was it to you that Axie Select was real money from the start? That it's not a firm that is offering you prop through virtual funds, simulated funds, that they committed real capital from the start?
Yeah, for me, that was the key. That was key. I mean, doing trading with a broker for me is the most important thing. Not with someone who tells you, yeah, that's a virtual demo, but we cover your trades and blah blah blah. That's crazy. So trading with a broker who is in the industry, who has regulations, who has real money, that's the most important for me.
So going back to your own trading, you went from trading $550 to now trading $1 million.
Yeah.
How do you keep your cool and maintain your discipline, even though that number has grown significantly?
Yes, the most important for me, or a very, very important thing, is keep focus on what you are doing. I mean, if you love the market, if you love to trade, it doesn't matter if you trade with 1,000 or 1 million. You are gonna keep your rules, you are gonna keep your strategy. Of course, now my size is very low because I have 1 million behind me. But I keep doing what I have been doing for years and what I know that works. It's like in poker. I don't think on how much money I'm betting on each hand. I think always in number of big blinds. In trading is like I think in percentages. I don't think on 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. No, I need to do a 1.1% of my account. That's it. I have 22,000 account. What's my goal? 20. That's it. I have done 21. Fantastic. My goal, $20 per trade. 0.1%. That's perfect.
So it sounds like one of the great things is that you can keep your own account size whatever you want. And because the $1 million that is funded by Axie Select is kind of like copy trading your own account. It's in separate accounts. So you don't have to necessarily think that you have $1 million
That's it.
on the line. You just need to focus on whatever amount is your own account, which kind of, could psychologically trick yourself into maintaining that discipline, would you say?
Yes, it helps us a lot because if you suddenly find in your account 1 million, it's like now the size, the lots, and the risk is like you have lost 5,000, 10,000. Is like wow, that's a lot. But if you see $20, $30, $50, is like well, that's something I'm used to see with my eyes, not something super huge that could be very difficult to handle.
Axis Select always says how they're a firm that is trader first, and they try to do what would help traders succeed in the best way possible. I think by splitting the accounts like that, it really allows, just from the onset, it really allows the trader to focus on just doing well, focus on minimizing the psychology, which is not something that any of the prop firms, you have to, if you're trading with another prop firm, you have to do this yourself by having many accounts and copy trading. But they set this up for you right on the start.
Yes, and also for me, it's like this program is in favor of the trader, not against the trader. If you see for example, the percentages, you have to reach a 7% before losing a 10%. So it means if you flip a coin, you are gonna reach that 7% before you hit the 10%. So it's like if I place randomly trades, it's gonna happen the 7% before the 10% loses. So it's crazy.
So would you say, I guess another way to ask this is, how do you plan your payouts? Do you take maybe 2,000 euros a month out? Do you have a consistent amount that you take out, or you leave it all in the account?
If I trade with 20, I trade with 22,000 now in this account. So whatever above 22,000, I remove it from this account and I invest in copy trading usually.
Okay, so that's a very good point that you make. I think it's a very important point, which is that you try to keep your account balance the same. And anything made, that's what you pay out. Or that's what you pull out. And then you keep it the same, you keep going, that's what you pull out. That's how you maintain your psychological discipline, by keeping it the same amount.
The same amount, of course. And if I crash and if I lose 1,000 one month, at the next month I'm gonna deposit 1,000 because I wanna trade always with the same amount, because I want to have everything clever in my mind, that I don't want to think on the size, if it's too much, it's too low. No, always same amount. And at the end of the month, I remove or I deposit.
And then it sounds like you basically make your money work for you by taking out the money, putting it back into other coffee trading systems in order to grow your
fixation.
That is very, very smart. That is very, very smart. So what kind of advice can you give for traders who are considering prop and thinking about joining Axis Select?
Well, that's in my opinion and my experience, that's the best program that you can find. So you are 9 months far from the million. Just try that. There is nothing to lose. You are gonna lose $50. That's very worth it. Just try that. Keep going. Don't give up, and give you an opportunity to do that.
What can I expect if I'm thinking about joining Axis Select? What can I expect my first 30 days to look like? What should I focus on? What should I spend the most of my time on in terms of trying to be as consistent as you?
Try to write in a paper, to write down what you wanna do and what's gonna be your strategy, your real strategy. And in another paper in your wall, just the exit strategy. That's the most important. Even if you are winning or losing, just tattoo that and do that. So don't. If you lose your time on creating a strategy, stop loss, take profit, and all the stuff, respect it. If you have to change because it's not a good strategy, it's not a good performance, perfect. Change it and give another month or another 2 months to check if what you are thinking is good. But do what it's in your mind, not improvise according to the market. Now I have this feeling now the market is gonna rise. No. What's in the paper? Go out, enter, do it.
So just to recap what you said, the first 30 days, you should write down your trading plan, write your entry strategy, write your exit strategy,
Yes.
and stick to it, basically.
And give one opportunity to this paper, because maybe this paper is very good.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for everything that you've shared today, Daniel. There was a lot of really valuable information here, and I'm so happy to see the success that you've had so far. And I can't wait to see the next 2, 3, 4, 5 million that you're going to be managing at Access.
Of course. I hope it. Thank you very much, Kathy. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.